this. Okay, so like I said, I have really nothing new. Sorry, Logan. I have really nothing new whatsoever. I'm going to do a couple practice problems with you. Then you'll have some time to work. Or if you need me to look at something or answer something for you individually, I will. And I'm going to show you your test, okay? All right. Now, generally remember it takes us 4 matrices, so space it out. Now, one thing I noticed right away, and you'll see these just take a touch more work maybe than yesterday. Remember, our first goal is you want this top left number to be a 1. So I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to use the top equation as my top row. I don't love the 2 on there. I could divide by 2, but you'd have some fractions, and God knows we don't want that. So I'm looking at my other equations. I mean, the middle one's not awful. I could divide everything by -2 on that, and you'd get a 1. I could roll with that. Or I could throw the third one up there first and just switch the sides. So you have choices. The order the equations are stacked makes absolutely 0 difference. So here's what I'm going to do. You can different ways. I'm going to use this as my first equation. I'm going to put that in the first row. I'm going to go ahead and switch the signs on it too, so I have that +1. Glad you made it, Johnny.
Yep. Who is this? Someone left their lunch in here.
Oh, here, I can take it. Probably one of my kids from 8th hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so next mission. I'm just going to use this as my equation 2.
Yeah. I guess you could say that.
And I'll do this guy as the third one. Now, it's up to you on the third one. I can leave it in the form that it's in, or you could reduce it all by what? 2. Now, if you're doing this, obviously, without your graphing calculator, you got to do all the work by hand. I would probably reduce it. It's less likely you'll have an error with smaller numbers. So I'm going to divide it all by 2. You could have divided it by -2 if you wanted. Doesn't matter, okay? So first be okay with the order. Now, remember, just a good review. I'm going slow because we've had some people gone. I want to make sure we get this under control. Because remember, these row operations come back again in 7.6. The better you are at this, the easier your life will be. So we're going to work a column at a time. So I'm working on those 3 numbers, the 1, the 2, the -1. We made our goal of having our 1 here. My first row is perfect. I'm just going to copy down the 1, the 5, the -1, and the -17. Okay. So remember, you are using the 1 to drive or to change the other numbers beneath it. Now, I don't care if we change the 2 or the -1 next. It makes no difference. I'm going to do the 2. Easy question. What eliminates 2? So we're going to multiply this top row by -2, and then I'm going to add it into the middle. Now, I don't care if you just do a little operation like that on the side. A lot of times that's what I do. You can do your fancy, we're multiplying the top row by -2, and I'm adding it into the middle, if you like the formal ones. Okay, let's do the math. -2 times 1, -2, plus 2. That's what we were after. -2 times 5, -10, -10 plus 5. -2 times -1, 2. 2 plus -3. -2 times -17 is 34. 34 minus 10. All right, working on this blue -1. Now remember, you're using the 1, the diagonal ones, to drive the other numbers into zeros. Now, I can make those 2 a 0 super easy if I just straight add them together. 1 plus -1 is 0. So I'm just going to add the 2 rows together. So if you want to get fancy, we're adding row 1 into row 3. So I'm just going to add them up. 1 plus -1, 5 plus -1, -1 plus 1, -17 plus 1. Okay. First column looks amazing. Second column, so I got some problems on it, okay? Now, I'm looking at the second column, these 3 numbers. We need this guy to be a 1, because we want to use we need diagonal ones, and I want to use the 1 to drive the other numbers into zeros. Now I'm like, oh Lord, I could divide these green numbers by -5, but I don't think we want to do that because we're going to have some pretty gross fractions. So I'm like, okay, what else could I do? I like these blue numbers because I notice they're all multiples of what? 4. So let's do this. I'm going to divide the blue numbers all by 4. 0 over 4 is 0. 4 over 4 is a 1. 0 over 4 is a, okay. And then what I can do is I can just flip-flop these rows. Because remember, who cares the order you stack the equations? It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to interchange these two. I'm going to put the blue in the middle, the green at the bottom. And then I'm going to look at it. So I'm just putting the blue numbers in the middle. So 0, 1, 0, -4. And I really like that blue equation because you've got an answer. Y is -4. 0x, 1y, 0z. All right, let me throw the green numbers in here.
Would you just change the sign on the green?
Hang on. And I gotta put my top row in. I'm just being super conscientious. I'm just gonna look at them and make sure I didn't miswrite anything. We miss a sign and we know what happens, kids. Okay. Just wanna make sure I don't miss anything. So still working on this column. So we've got the 1, the diagonal 1, which we needed to change out our other numbers, of course, into zeros. So I'm going to rewrite in that blue row. Now, does it matter if you do the top 5 or the bottom green -5? I'm going to do them both. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to do the top 5 first. So to get rid of -5, we're going to need a -5. We're going to multiply it through all of those, and we're going to add it into the top. So -5 times 0, 0 plus 1. -5 times 1, -5 plus 5. -5 times 0, 0 plus -1. -5 times -4, 20. 20 minus 17. All right, so last number we have to work on is the green -5. Now, let's talk about this. I always have kids, and I'm not saying it's wrong, they're like, oh, I'm just going to add the red and the green numbers together because that's going to be 0. Not wrong, but what's 1 plus 0? So now you'd have a 1 down here, and then you'd have to go back and get rid of that. I don't want to do that. So pro tip to save you work, always use the diagonal 1 to convert the other numbers into zeros. That will save you like working in a circle and having to go back and change other numbers. So I'm still using the blue numbers. I'm going to multiply the blue row. I'm going to change it to a 5, a +5, to get rid of our -5. So I'm doing the blue numbers by 5, adding it to the green. So 5 times 0, 0 plus 0. 5 times 1, 5, plus -5. 5 times 0, 0, plus -1. 5 times -4, -20. -20 plus 24. And you should be able to tell me what z is now. -4, because we have to do a little changing of the signs, which I'm just going to change them. I'm not going to rewrite the whole darn matrix. Okay, so I'm kind of getting at the bottom of the screen, so I'm just going to scroll it up here quick. So what is the one last number we need to change in this? Top -1. Now remember I said in general it takes you 4 matrices. I'm going to have to go to a 5th just because we had to like change some rows around. We had to do some kind of shifting to make all of this work out. Generally it's 4. Okay, so our bottom green row is perfect. We don't want to change it. So I'm just filling that guy in because we know z is -4. Our blue middle row also perfect. We know y is -4. Clearly we're working on that. Now remember, you were working off your diagonal 1s here. So I'm working off this bottom 1 for my column. So I just have to add them together. I'm just going to straight add the top row into the bottom row. I'll put my fancy row operation here. So 0 plus 1. 0 plus 0. 1 plus -1. Here's where it really counts. What's -4 plus 3? -1. So there's my answer for x. So I'm just going to write out my answers. We're kind of tired. I'm just going to go ordered pair style. Got it. So different ways you could have done it. You didn't have to reduce the one equation by 2. You could have used that one divided by 2 as your 1. I mean, different ways, obviously, to do these to get the same final answers.
One question, just clarification.
Yep.
When you add rows, do both rows change or just one?
Just one changes. You're adding it into the other ones. Yeah. Any other questions I can answer on this guy? All right, are we ready for another? Okay, so be smart here. Be smart. Thinking about how you're going to set it up in the order. I don't like that top equation has the 2 because we want to start with the 1. So what's your play here?
Stack the second one.
Yeah, let's put the second equation first because who cares what order we write these equations? I can write them in whatever order I want. So I'm going to make the 1x, 2y, negative 1z equals 3 my first equation. Now, it doesn't matter the order we do the other ones in. Just be conscientious that top equation you're missing z. So I'm going to do the top equation in the middle, 2, 5, 0, 9. I can take that. And then I'll do the bottom. Thank you. Okay. I'm just double checking. I don't have any, didn't miswrite anything. Get distracted, get in the path. Looking good. Okay. So working on our first column. We're going to use the 1, of course. I'm going to keep that first row. All right. So let's change the 2 first. Easy question. What gets rid of a 2? Negative 2. So we are timesing the top row by negative 2, and then we're going to add it into the middle. So I'm going to give you a minute to try to come up with the middle row. What numbers would be in the middle row? Quick, negative 2 times that, of course, 0. Negative 2 times 2, negative 4 plus 5. Negative 2 times negative 1, 2 plus 0. Negative 2 times 3, negative 6. Negative 6 plus 9. Okay, so we have the bottom row to go. What gets rid of a negative 3? Positive 3. So really, I'm just going to cross this off. We're going to multiply by 3 now and add it into the bottom row. 3 times 1, 3 plus negative 3. 3 times 2, 6 minus 4.
2.
3 times negative 1.
4.
Negative 3 plus 7.
It's 4. Oh.
It's all right, it's all right.
Idiot.
Wow, wow. 3 times 3 plus 1, 10. Now, we do have that green diagonal 1, which I do, of course, like. But honestly, I would probably even, maybe if you want to make your life easy, it really doesn't matter. You could reduce all the blue numbers by what? 2. Which again, it's 2, 4, 10 aren't that big of numbers to deal with. But if you're worried about doing like all this computation in your head, no judgment, little judgment, you might want to reduce them. So I'm going to make it a 1, a 2, and a 5. Again, you don't have to, but just if you're worried. Okay. So we are now working on the second column. The green diagonal 1 is what we're going to use to change the other numbers into zeros. So my green row is amazing right now. I'm just filling in the 0, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do, well, let's do the 2 first. Let's pick up red. I'm going to do the top 2 first, and then I'll do the bottom blue 1 after that. Let's do the top red 2. What gets rid of a 2? So we're working off our green row. So we're timesing this by negative 2, and we're going to add it into the top one. That's what we're doing. So negative 2 times 0, 0 plus 1. Negative 2 times 1, negative 2 plus 2. That's what we were after. Negative 2 times 2, negative 4. What's negative 4 plus negative 1? Negative 2 times 3, negative 6. Negative 6 plus 3. All right, let's do our bottom row. To get rid of 1, we need a negative 1. So now we're going to do this, of course, by negative 1. We're going to add it into the bottom row. Negative 1 times 0, 0 plus 0, yeah. Negative 1 times 1, negative 1 plus 1. That's what we're after. Negative 1 times 2, negative 2 plus 2. Negative 1 times 3, negative 3. Negative 3 plus 5.
2.
No solution.
No solution?
So I heard IMS, I hear no solution. Really, those are different things. Which is it?
No solution.
Okay, 0x, 0y, 0z. Got it. Okay.
All that work for nothing.
Oh, come on. Come on! A, what kind of attitude is that? All right, flip it over. Calculator time, my friends. So there is a problem on there for you. Just realize I'm going to actually show you how to do the first one in your calculator here. So I'm going to flip back and forth. Now, oh God, there's so many screenshots, people, so many screenshots. Now, I'm going to try not to complain about Texas Instruments too much. I'll try not to get in my soapbox, but you know how it goes. It's easy to do on your calculator, but it's kind of a pain because you have to go through multiple menus to find the items. That's why I have all the screenshots. I'm going to show you first. We're going to get into your matrix menu. Hopefully you see the word matrix on your calculator. Every time you do that, you're going to go to edit. We have to type in the matrix. You have to state the size and enter in all the numbers. And then, of course, we are putting these into reduced row echelon form. So I'm going to go back to this first problem just to show you. I'm going to erase that off so we can see it all. Now, so I'm going to show you this first one in your calculator. So matrix menu. Hopefully you see the word matrix is right above x to the -1. So I'm going to hit second, that value. You might have stuff in there. I have absolutely no idea. I just use letter A, the first one, every time just to make it easy. So the first thing we have to do is go over to edit, because we have to type in the numbers. Hit enter on edit, and it's going to ask you for the size. Well, what's the size of the matrix? How many rows? Rows go across. 3. How many columns? 4. Okay, and then I'm just going to start typing in the matrix. Now, we kind of reordered and had to do some shenanigans to do it by hand. You can just type the original one in. Let's make our lives easy. So 2, hit enter takes you to the next slot. Don't judge how slow I type on this. Make sure you use the negative key, not subtraction. It will get angry at you. Can you reduce that middle one by 2? Sure, but I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to straight type it. -1. Okay, and I'm just going to double check, because you know I hate typing on this thing, that I don't have a typo. Because if you have a typo, obviously it's going to go sideways. Okay. Just want to make sure I don't have a typo typing on the matrix up here. So let me give you a minute, type it in. Because I don't want to get ahead of you guys. I want everybody to have it entered in first. Because you're going to have to know how to do this. If you come up to me on the test, I'm not going to help you. This is why I'm testing you on, that you know how to use your graphic calculator. Okay. Do you have it all typed in? All I did was type in the matrix.
So how do we like solve?
Well, hang on. I'm waiting for everybody to get them typed in first.
So this will do the Gauss Jordan for you?
Did you reorder?
I just used the original problem, just like I said. I typed in the original equations.
Oh, the original.
Yep. I made my life easy.
You didn't show us this.
You don't have to.
No.
All right, so once you have it typed in, this is the part I hate about these calculators, because it's a pain to find. Okay, are you ready? Okay, you have to quit out of here first. So I'm going to hit just second mode, take you back to the home screen. So I find that already obnoxious, but whatever. Then you have to get back into the matrix menu, because now we have to go into the middle, the math one. That's where all the different calculations are listed. And you're going to see all this stuff. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is this? Determinants, that's another section. There's all these operations. You have to down arrow till you get to letter B, R, R, E, F. So let me down arrow.
I knew it.
Okay. Now,
I like this guy.
make sure that you pick B, not A. B is the reduced row echelon form that does the Gauss Jordan for you. So I'm going to, it's selected. I've got the bold box rectangle on B. I'm just going to hit enter. And now I have to tell it of which matrix. Well, I did my matrix as A. I'm guessing you did matrix A too. So second matrix. A is already selected. I just hit enter. And then I hit enter. And there are the answers we got.
So we could have done this whole
Like,
time.
why didn't you teach me this the first time?
That is.
So why did I get a different answer?
Alright, so hold on.
Why do I do anything? Something
Hold
You
on.
guys click 0?
Yeah, I didn't.
Pull it
I just
together,
had no
people.
number.
Now,
It's hilarious.
okay, now here's the thing. If you didn't get the right answer, you mistyped the original equation somehow. That's why I even paused and like double checked that I had mine typed in correctly, because you know I hate typing on this thing. So just to recap, we're going to do one more. Second matrix, you have to do edit first. So when we're going to do that next one that's on your page here, so let's go to this guy. So I'm now going to type this one in. Okay, let me slide this over just a little bit because it's covering up the right-hand side. Now, different size though. So matrix edit. So what are the dimensions going to be on this one? How many rows? 4. So just hit 4, enter, and it types over. How many columns? 4, which seems weird, right? So again, I'm just typing right over the numbers. So 2, you can reduce the top one or not. I just type them in. Why am I going to do extra work? Call me 8. Don't judge how slow I type. Oh man, that's fine. Enter. Okay, just because I hate typing on this thing, I'm just doing a double take to make sure I have it all typed in right. I don't trust myself on it. 1, 3. Okay. Okay, so make sure you have it typed in.
Yes. Second quit.
Typed in. So now you're going to quit out and get to the home screen, which is irritating. We have to get back to the matrix menu and go to math. And you got to arrow down to letter B, reduced row echelon form. Oh man, I went too far. Okay. And then I'm going to pull up my matrix A. I always use A. I'm just super lame. I just keep typing over. You can use the other ones. I just retype A every time. I don't know why. I'm just going to steal this picture a second. So what does this mean? Infinitely many, because the row is 0. So let's leave it at that. Nope. Just. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm never doing this.
Now, wait. I know we're all like, yes, I'm going to type these all in my calculator. No. There are some that you can just straight use your calculator and write the answers. There are some you have to do by hand because there are 2 parts on the test. A calculator part, a by hand part. So you have to be able to do both. So let me